Now, this is an interview with Unhoped on Sunday, December 6th, 2020 by Nick Brickell. Now, can you introduce yourself for me?
Hello, my name is Jyri Luostarinen. I'm the vocalist for Finnish death thrash metal band Unhoped, and I've been their vocalist for 9 years now.
What came first for you, singing or playing bass?
Well, if you think of like band life, they came at the same time actually, but I was when I first started listening to heavy metal, like probably 12, 13 years old. I used to sing. I listened to a lot of kind of classic heavy metal, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Manowar and that kind of stuff. And I used to sing with the songs, but not in any bands. Yeah, at the age of 15, my mother and father asked if I would like to have some kind of gift for the end of primary school, and then I thought out for probably a couple of weeks, and then I said I would like to try bass guitar. Then they bought me my first bass, and I started learning that, and it took like a couple of months, and I went to study in a different city, and our school had this band rehearsal space, and we formed our first bands over there. And I used to sing and play bass in those bands.
Now,
Yeah, so they kind of came at the same time.
now, were you involved in any like music education programs?
uh, I was involved in primary schools, the music classes, but not in any kind of programs, specific programs. We used to play this flute called recorder, the musical
Oh yeah.
instrument recorder. You can check it out. It's fucking horrible. We used to play that in schools. We had to play, and I can tell you that I learned nothing about music through that recorder.
Yeah,
So,
like in America, we did that too. Like I
okay.
actually played violin when I was younger, and played that
Oh,
from
nice.
I'd say about age 8 to about 14. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the instrument. It was just kind of like the high school I went to didn't have a orchestra, so I pretty much had
Yeah.
to stop learning it at that point. That's my history with music. Now,
Okay.
how did Unhoped form, and how has the dynamic of your band changed with your new bassist?
Unhoped was formed, I guess, in 2009 or 2010. There was this melodic death metal band called Sancteferia at the time in Varkaus, my hometown, and our guitarist Kalle and our drummer Mikko and our former bass player Samu were playing in that band, and then that band did split, and the guys thought that, well, we can still play together, and let's change our style to faster kind of stuff and play more thrashy, and it came like that. And then our second guitarist Aku joined in later because, well, Varkaus is a very small town. We have like a little bit over 20,000 people, so some kind of that, something like that. And there are not that many extreme metal guitarists over there. So he was the youngest guy. Then they didn't really they didn't have that much of choice, so they got Aku. And now if Aku listens to this, he probably feels bad, but that's probably the way. But then he got better and he got better and he got better, and now he's a fucking monster on guitar. And then they had a vocalist for a couple of years, or like 1 year. For 1 year, they had Lalli. He was from Pieksämäki town, from about 40 kilometers west from Varkaus, and he sang for the first EP the First Blood EP, and he sang for the Mökki Mayhem, which means the Cottage Mayhem demo, and then they started to record the Die Harder album, and they felt that Lalli he still is a great vocalist, but he wasn't that much of a front man, and he didn't enjoy doing gigs and that kind of stuff. And uh, well, I used to by that time I used to drink on weekends with Samu quite a lot. And one time when I was drunk, I said kind of arrogantly that, okay, when Lalli has had enough, then just call me and I can come and do the vocals for you. And then on one night, he actually sent me a message that, can you come next week and try vocals with us? And I was like, wow, okay, I can do this. And I went there and I was fucking horrible, but for some reason they gave me the job. And the first demos that we did for the album were fucking horrible. And I could see from Kalle's face when we recorded those vocals that what the fuck is this guy doing? What the fuck did we do? In the end, I got a bit better. I got a bit more aggressive, and it sounds way better on the record than the first demos. But if we would record them now, if we would record First Blood, the Die Harder album now, it would sound much more better in every way, especially with the vocals, because my voice has evolved much more from those days. I was 19 when I recorded those vocals, so.
Now, I really loved your song Tidal Wave from Die Harder. Early on, was that a big crowd favorite?
Yeah, because it's like this mid-tempo kind of song. It's got kind of more hit potential, if you might say. And yeah, we like to play that, and the crowd used to like it because most of our songs are quite fast, and they have these kind of breakdown parts and kind of this, but it was like mostly the mid-tempo double bass song. And yeah, we used to play that for quite many years, and then we got more songs. We dropped it out from the set, and I guess a few years back we played it again on some gigs, and it's a fun song to play. But now we have much more new material that we don't visit much of the Die Harder stuff nowadays at live situations. We have a custom of opening our gigs with the Priest's Colors on Serpent's Neck song, but that's pretty much all that we play from the first LP.
Now, what was going on when you recorded the EP Nuclear Death?
Well, it was the second second release with me on it, and we were getting a bit better. Well, it was 7 years ago, probably 8 years ago, when we recorded that. So if I have to recall what was going on, then well, nothing that much special. I guess we were still everybody were living in the same town of Varkaus, so we were practicing a lot. The songs were getting better. The songs were getting quite much heavier and faster. My lyrics were getting a bit better. My voice was getting a bit better, and we had through the Nuclear Death experience, we got our first kind of a record deal with a Finnish, a small independent label called Violent Journey Records, and the contract was kind of this: okay, the band gives the label the money, the prints the the CDs, and the label had this kind of this other distributing system called Supersound, which is fucking horrible. Distributors don't ever get your CDs or records of any sort for Supersound in Finland to distribute, because they do a fucking horrible job. And yeah, and we when we released the Nuclear Death, it actually happened on the same weekend. I don't know if it was the same day or was it the Friday or was it Saturday, but we got to play in the Finnish extreme metal festival Steelfest in Hyvinkää, which is nowadays it's a bit more like a mostly black metal festival, but by the time of 2013 it still had quite much of thrash. It had very much death metal, and it was like one of a third was kind of thrashy, and one of a third was very much death metal, and one of the third was black metal. It was like that festival, but nowadays it's mostly just black metal. But yeah, we got to play there, and there was Sodom and Destruction were playing there also, and very very much great bands were playing there too. And yeah, it was a nice gig. We were all fucking hangover from Friday, and we were the first band to play on Saturday, and our guys started vomiting backstage because of the drinking, and we had a hotel by for accommodation over there, and all of the bands were there, and we ate our breakfast like good boys do, and then when we came back to our rooms on Saturday, the day when we were supposed to play, Sabu went vomiting, and then we went to the festival area, and then we went backstage, and Aku started vomiting, and and it was hot, and it was horrible, and then we went to play. There were a handful of people who were also very hangover, and actually our label manager, by that time he was already drunk, or he was still drunk from Friday. He was actually drunk for the whole fucking festival. I didn't saw him sober. It is the only time that I have seen him, and I haven't seen him sober. He was drunk as fuck, but somehow he still managed to to stay alive over there. And actually on the Friday day, this our label manager, he's from north, and he's a very close friend for some of the very old Finnish thrash bands like National Napalm Syndicate and Ancient Rotten Grave Guards, and the National Napalm Syndicate was playing on Steelfest, and a couple of weeks back, our label manager, sent me that would I like to go and sing the Exodus song Piranha with them, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, of course, and I went. After our gig was over, we probably like went to eat, went to drink, and went to see some bands, and they were playing closer to the evening, I guess, like some kind of 7 p.m. or something like that, and the festival crowd was packed, and there was a shitload of people. I have never ever again been in front of such a big crowd, and I sang Piranha with them, and nobody had an idea who the fuck I was, and I was just there thrashing and killing it, and Yeah, it was nice.
Now, how do you think the music video for Human Disgrace came out from the Sonic Violence album?
In 2015, when it was the Halloween weekend when we recorded that in our rehearsal place. At the time, it was our rehearsal place. We recorded it over there. We had some these kind of construction site lights over there, and we even had a fucking smoke machine from our friends in Varkaus who are involved very much in the live music scene there, and they lended us some lights and they lended us some smoke machines and kind of that. And actually, our bass player now, Jani Nupponen, was there doing the moving camera. We had like it was very do-it-yourself kind of stuff. We had some like probably 3 GoPro cameras that were filming on mounted positions, and we did the song very many times, and then with all the different angles we just changed them for that, and then we did it like three times that Yanni filmed it while moving, and actually you can see his fingers on the on the uh, video if you watch very closely. I guess it's I don't remember the exact spot, but if you watch closely, I can recall you can see his fingers on the left side of the camera. Yeah, it was nice filming it. It was fucking long, but yeah, we got to. We're starting to sound like fucking alcoholics by now, but we got to drink because it wasn't any kind of a professional thing. So each time we were done with the take, we got to drink for some beers, and then we did the next take, and then we had beers again, and then we did the next, and so on and so on. So by the end of it, I guess I had some trouble staying on my feet after head banging and that kind of stuff. But it's good that it didn't end up in the final product. But yeah, I'm very happy about the video. It has this kind of very old school headbangers ball kind of feeling to it.
Now, for your new EP, what was it like composing the song Grand Gignol? Is that how I pronounce it?
Grand Gignol. Uh, I guess it's Grand Gunol or something like that.
Yeah.
It's French. It's French. Well, I don't know about that much about the composition because our guitarist Kalle does most of the riffs and most of the songs. Uh, when he has a song ready, he plays the demo for us, and we say that it's killer shit. And then I start to come up with some kind of lyrics. Uh, and actually, I usually have quite a hard time to figure out titles, but for this, by that time, I guess I had like 4 or 5 or 6 titles already and no music whatsoever. So Grand Gugnol is, or it was actually, I guess it's like the second song of the new stuff that we have boiled over the years, and I guess it was probably the fall 2017 when we got the demo for it, and then it took some time for me to write the lyrics because I'm a very I'm very slow writer. I need to find the inspiration. But yeah, Grand Gugnol, it was actually my first intention was like to make a song about how the violence that we see every day, we see it in entertainment, or we see it in news, and or wherever we see that we kind of numb, we kind of grow numb for it. But then again, I'm not that kind of a smart guy to write smart lyrics about that. So it then became like a song about Slasher, who who captures a woman and puts a video recorder on and mutilates her and then puts it online. So it's kind of like snuff film stuff, very original. And Grand Guignol was actually before it was this kind of a grand theater in Paris, maybe, yeah, in Paris, and it first hosted this kind of pretty normal kind of stuff. Different place, but then through time it became known for a theater for horror shows, and it had very much the first kind of horror plays, and it was very known for its special effects by the time, and it was before the Second World War, so it was quite rad. There was fake blood and everything like that, werewolves and shit, and so it became like, in comparison in the lyrics, that welcome back to Grand Guignol to witness the horrors through the internet, but yeah, this time it's real. I don't know if I can put it better than that.
So, what's it like in Finland right now for live musicians dealing with the COVID situation?
Uh, Shit, basically. Everything is banned. We don't have any shows. We were supposed to play a show in Helsinki about, it was a couple of weeks ago, but then my grandfather died, and his funeral was at the same weekend, so there was no way that I could be in that show, so we had to cancel it. And it was actually the last weekend before the new restrictions came to be, and the place was packed. I had a few drinks with a fellow frontman from Maniac Abductor, Niklas Pappinen. We were at my place about a week back, and he said that the place was full. They took 70 paying customers in, and then then it was that, and there were 70 people over there for the three bands. They were there for the whole time, and they were raging, and it was great. Everybody, or actually most of them, I guess, they had their face masks on, and kind of that. But yeah, it really bothers me that we couldn't go there and play. But then again, in Helsinki there is a rapidly growing amount of infections over there, so so I'm not that pissed off about it. It's like a two-edged sword, if you might say. And yeah, the people here who are who get the living out of this kind of live music scene and different events and kind of like that, they are very pissed about this situation because they don't have any kind of safety net. They are all of them are unemployed and they don't have any kind of unions or like that. So yeah, they are in deep shit, and I feel quite bad for them. And then again, all of kind of these events are forbidden, and then we have Black Friday, and people are crowding these shopping malls early in the morning. There are like fucking hundreds of people over there right next to each other, and they are waiting to get their TVs. So it's, I don't know, it sucks ass.
Can you tell me about your other band, Fun Moped?
Yeah, actually, it's just it's just a play on words of Unhoped. Uh, when we or when I joined the band, we had this inside group in Facebook for us, which was called Moped Entertainment, and it was just play on words of Unhoped and Fun and Moped, and it's not actually a band.
Okay.
But my other band at this by this time is called Macrophagy. I play bass in that, and it's kind of this like progressive rock, heavy rock, metal kind of band, and and we sing in Finnish, and it has like it's progressive rock, so it has kind of horror elements to it, and it has some sci-fi elements on some songs, and kind of like that. It differs very much from Unhoped, but I like it.
Now, what are some of your favorite Finnish and Scandinavian horror movies?
Yeah. Well, I haven't actually seen very much Finnish horror movies because in Finland we don't make that much horror movies. I guess most of the horror movies in Finland are made by kind of these do-it-yourself guys who make their own short films and kind of like that. We don't have that many major Finnish horror movies. We had this kind of during this fall. I live in Kuopio city now, and we had this kind of film festival, a small film festival where they play some old movies, and there was this very old Finnish horror and slash comedy slash parody movie called, if I uh, translate it roughly, it's like the witch comes back to life, and it's kind of a funny. I guess it's from like the 50s. Yeah, it's from 1952, and it has some very crappy special effects, and it was one of the first, I'd say, probably erotic kind of horror movie made in Finland because there was very much tits on that movie, or it was probably during the time it came out, it was probably very much advertised through the nudity that it contained. But yeah, we don't have that many Finnish horror movies. I have seen this Which Comes Back to Life. Now I've seen it, I guess, twice, and then there is this newer horror movie called Sauna. I have seen it. It came out like over 10 years ago, and I saw it by then. I don't remember much of it. I should probably check it out. But it's more of like this. It's based on some kind of I guess it's 19th century, and well, it was kind of strange movie. I should check it out. Check it out again. And then there is this kind of cult Finnish horror comedy movies called Kuutamo Sonaatti, which is like in Finnish, in English it's like uh, Moonlight Sonata, and then the sequel to it called Kadunlakaisijat, which is like it's street sweepers, and it's a story about this kind of in the middle of it's a story about this kind of a family living in the middle of nowhere town, and then the city girl comes to that town to spend the weekend there with her fiance, and then this kind of a and then one of the boys of that family starts harassing her, and it's like this. It's a fun movie, and then at the end the boy dies and her mother dies, and the smaller brother or little or the big brother, I don't remember, his kind of like this retarded one, he escapes, and in the sequel, in the beginning, the retarded brother digs out the mother and his brother's corpses and takes them to sauna, and there he spanks them with with tree leaves and that kind of stuff, and then they come back to life, and then the then they moved to Helsinki, and again this this the other brother, who is kind of like pervert, he again falls in love with a beautiful lady, and then they if you can find them from somewhere and have subtitles, I highly recommend to check them out. They are quite fun.
Now, what is your most cherished Finnish metal album in your collection?
Oh, in my collection, I'd say probably I don't have that many Finnish metal records. Actually, I don't listen very much of Finnish metal uh, because I just think that we don't have that many great bands. But I'd say the definitive Finnish metal record that has zero bad songs is probably Death Chains, Death Thrash Assault. It is a powerful and in your face and perfect record. Yeah. After that they went a bit more death metal and not that much of a death thrash anymore, and I haven't been that interested following their career, but yeah, that album is fucking great.
Now, what is your favorite urban legend or ghost story from Finland?
Mm, yeah, as I said before, that in Finland we don't have that much of urban legends, I guess, or at least I have not heard many of them. But we have much of folk stories, and we have we have very much of witch stories actually. And yeah, there is actually this comic book album called Perkele, and Perkele means kind of a devil in Finland, and it has 6 different stories of like this 19th century Finland, and some of them are based in Sweden, and they have these stories that are inspired by these stories that were told by the time. Sorry, actually, it's the 1700s where it's based, and I read it like probably 6 years ago, and I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but yeah, these stories in the comic book are based on the actual legends and stories that were circling by that time, and it has this kind of a story where there are witch trials, and this small girl is there testifying against a woman who is sued for witchcraft, and the little girl tells to the judges that she saw that the old lady went to the Kyöpelinvuori with the devil, and she rode there with her broom, and there she danced with the devil and fornicated with him, and there was all of this all of this stuff. When you fornicate with the devil, you get pregnant immediately, and then you give birth for dark creatures, and they come bursting out of your belly or something like that. And the woman is condemned to be burned. And after the trial, the devil actually comes, and he takes that little girl with her to the Köpelinvuori, and yeah, she gave the false kind of false testament for it, and then the devil makes her do all this stuff that she she told about what that old lady did, and yeah, it's kind of a dark dark shit, but yeah. And if you have seen actually the movie The Witch, the new English folk tale, I guess it's called, it actually describes very correctly these kind of same kind of beliefs and things that were happening in Finland too, and all those beliefs that of witchcraft, they are very kind of same in that movie, and it's a good movie. Yeah. Final words. Stay safe. Let's hope that this COVID bullshit ends soon, and keep on track with Unhoped. We haven't been very active now, but we have some very amazing stuff boiling up, and I hope that we get to record them as soon as possible and put a new album out, and probably sometime in not so distant future get back to gigs.
Thanks a lot, Jyri. This has been an interview with Unhoped on December 6th, 2020 by Nick Perkel.